Now, the European Union's top diplomat has warned against walking into what she called the trap of allowing Russia to keep Ukrainian territory in exchange for peace. Speaking to BBC Radio 4's Today programme after last week's summit between Presidents Trump and Putin, the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Kaja Kallas, said such a move would signal to Moscow that its aggression had paid off. She accused President Putin of making no effort to move towards peace.
No, this is exactly the trap that Russia wants us to walk into. I mean, the discussion all about what Ukraine should give up, what is the concessions that Ukraine is willing to do, whereas we are forgetting that Russia hasn't made one single concession, and they are the ones who are the aggressor here. They are the ones who are brutally attacking another country and killing people there with no, international law allowing this. So let's keep the focus there where we have to keep it, to put the pressure on Russia so that they would come to the negotiation table, and also what kind of concessions are the Russians making. Right now, they have just increased their goals and wishes.
Well, Russia has also claimed today that it captured 3 villages in the Donetsk region, bringing it closer to key Ukrainian defensive positions. Well, what is exactly the situation on the front line at the moment? Kaja Kallas is the Director of Security Programmes at the Foreign Policy Council, Ukrainian PRISM, and joins me now. Kaja, thanks for being with us. Is it possible to say what the battlefield situation is? Is Russia making gains? Obviously, it's evolving all the time.
The situation at the battlefield is very flexible or changeable, depends what word you would like to use, because the front line is huge. We are speaking about the administrative borders of 5 regions. We are speaking about almost 2,000 kilometers of the different front lines. So in this case, yes, there are certain pieces of this front line, like in the Donetsk region, that are currently in the very bad shape, and Russian forces been advancing. But you need to understand that to take some of these villages, it took them 11 years because they started doing it in 2014, and with the really total destruction of these villages. So nobody's living there. It is just the ashes left there. That is the price paid for occupation of these new territories. But at the same time, there are other territories in Sumy region, for example, where we just heard about the liberation of the villages previously being occupied by Russia. So if you ask me if Russia trying to advance, are they currently at the offensive? Yes, it is. As soon as the negotiations started or being planned for Alaska, Russians intensified their activities to gain additional territories and to prove that they are able of doing it. But at the same time, we cannot say that the situation is dramatically changing from, let's say, what we had in winter.
What about the situation on the technology front? The use of drones by both sides has obviously increased. Again, how is that changing?
That's a complicated situation because both sides are advancing and the technologies are changing almost monthly. So if originally, let's say 3 years ago, Ukraine being much advanced in terms of the new technologies and the diversity of the different drones that Ukraine used, so due to the badly implemented sanctions, Chinese support and Russian war economy, they managed to produce less variations, but in the bigger amount. For example, in Alabuga, they use the African forces and different other foreigners just to build 24/7 the so-called Shahed drones. But at the same time, both sides also advance in terms of the electronic warfare, because against the drones, you are fighting with electronic warfare much more than with the regular weapons. That was the parity situation when none of the sides really could go advance. Now we have the new types of the drones that are already not the distance working, but with the special cables. And the territories, if you go to the Kherson region, for example, it's like in the spider web over there because of these fabrics there. Now we are again in this parity partially, and both sides are looking for the technological advancements, how to break through this situation.
Kaja Kallas, thank you very much indeed.